In parenting, there are three things that are going on. There are absolute rules, there are negotiable things, and there are things we don't care about. The older a child gets, the more freedom that he or she has to make discernment or to make judgment about certain things. In other words, my daughter desperately wants to go to a party. She's 16 years old. I know the kind of people that are there. I don't like the family. I may, on that occasion, in my relationship, say, I'm sorry, but I've got a real problem with you going to that party, so I'm not going to be able to let you go. I apologize that it's my problem, and I don't want to, but I own it. And so, there, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I should let her go. I can only discern my sense of things through prayer, her history, my knowledge of her friends, and the like. Now, she can come back and say, well, you're judging me. You're judging my friends. And I can say, I want you to know that's not my intent at all. My intent is to do what I think best for you. I don't care, you're making a judgment. Well, that's up to her if she wants to label you in that way. But I know that I'm not attempting to judge anybody. And hopefully in time, she'll grow to see that. The younger the child, the more absolutes. The older, hopefully we have had a parental and child formation in which that child can discern what's right and what's wrong, what to do and what not to do. But those three things are always going on. Stuff I don't care about, stuff that's absolutely wrong and forbidden, and stuff that is negotiable. As my kids got older, two of them anyway, there's more and more negotiation. I want to stay out to midnight. How about 11 o'clock? No, that's not comfortable. So we work out 11:30, for example. So what I'm trying to get at is that you can always say that I'm not attempting to judge anyone as bad or unacceptable or whatever. Because we're all sinners. We all make mistakes. But I can, and it's my responsibility, for example, in the context you ask, as a parent, to discern, to make decisions about it. And in light of my kids, I have made many decisions, I would say, that haven't always been right. But the intentions have been right. Does that clear it up at all, or still?
Yeah, just
kind of funny?
No, I totally understand it. I just think that the distinction that you're drawing is entirely appropriate and accurate. It requires a certain level of maturity of thought process and understanding and so as you're outside of this room and you're working with a coworker or your kid that's moving that over, you're gonna have a tough time splitting that hair and not being viewed as kind of faulty.
I think what is going to help us is as we move forward, this is background information for you. I haven't given you the how to read people yet. How you can make some decisions about those. One of the most important people in the development of family therapy was named Virginia Satir. And if you go to Amazon.com, I keep thinking of, all the way down here, I kept thinking of books I should have put on the list to read. But I guess I just couldn't type that many. Anything written by Virginia Satir is worth reading. She was a master of communication. She was a master of helping bring people together. And I've always loved Virginia Satir's designations of the kinds of personalities that you and I meet every day. And she gives us 2, 3, 4, I want to say 5, and I'm correct. 5 types of people that you can look for. Now remember, you're going to find some people that are combinations of these things. But these 5 people you're going to run into, and we're going to talk about each of them. The first type, after you talk, you get to know the person, is a blamer. This person never takes responsibility for anything that goes wrong. Always has an excuse. Always has a way out of it. Everyone else is to blame. I don't own my behavior when I'm a blamer. I'm always, in general, blaming others. Know people like that? Blamers are very difficult people to work with because they're never going to be responsible. The second kind of person that she mentions are placaters. Placaters are people that are anxious to please. They have a need to make you happy and feel good about yourself. But you don't know what's behind the placator's behavior. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be mixed. They're frequently manipulative people. I apologize to Bob in here because I'm going to use the name Bob. I was talking to my wife about a friend of mine that I like very much, a guy, and I said, you know, we really had some good times together. And she goes, don't you get it? He's been trying to sell you something for years. That's the only reason he's really your friend, is he wants to sell you and wants you to buy into his product. And you know what I discovered? She's exactly right. But he was the friendliest guy I ever knew. Send me nice emails, send me a beautiful Christmas card, got to, acknowledge my birthday, all sorts of things. This guy is everybody's friend. You couldn't help but like him. He dares you not to like him. He's a placater. Do you know people like that? They want to please you at all costs.
Did he really work for something, or is this a real guy?
Yeah.
Oh, are placaters real?
No, the guy you're talking about.
Yes, he's real. He's real. The next kind of person is more difficult in a way because this person is the computer. This is someone who doesn't display emotions. You have no idea how that person is feeling. That was very much like that professor I spoke to you about that I had before. He was a computer type. So I couldn't read his feelings very well. I didn't know whether he cared about me, hated me, or whatever, and that invites projection. And also invites interjection. Again, projection, I assign to him certain feelings, and interjection is taking it on or into me what doesn't belong. And so, a computer is somebody that is very difficult to have conversations with because you don't feel as though you really know where he or she is coming from. All of you have experienced that type of personality. And then, there's another type that Virginia Satir spoke about. Distractors. And these are people that you can never really pin down. They're all over the map. They're flaky. They're people that, if you get in conversation with them, you really don't know what they've said after you've talked with them for 30 minutes because they lead you down this road, and that road, and this road, and that road. And so they're constantly cycling around, and you don't know how to catch up with them. Do you know that type? Now, sadly, the most difficult type of person to meet and to find is what we call the leveler.
It's true.
The leveler is someone that is straightforward with you. No holds barred. They're polite. They may disagree with you on certain things, but they're straightforward. And you feel as though you understand that person and you feel comfortable with that person. Whenever you don't feel comfortable with someone, and I'm going to give you some clues on that, you have to ask, is this coming from me, or is it coming from the other? And there is where your discernment comes in. You can't make a firm judgment that you're 100% sure that a person is something or not something. But you can only go with your sense of things. It is much easier to deal with levelers, but up front, they're tough to find. People that are just absolutely straightforward. What do you think? Have you experienced these 5 types of people on a regular basis?
Amen.
As I talk to you, I immediately have pictures of people in my head. None are in this room. I immediately have pictures of people in my head that are like this. For example, I can say this because I'm one of them. Many pastors can be placaters more than ever before. They will do anything to keep people happy and keep the peace at church. They will kiss butt. Because after all, who's paying their salary? Where are their benefits coming from? And so, they're very, very careful not to offend anybody. I'm convinced that the pastor ministry is one of the toughest jobs, if not the toughest job in the world. Because sometimes you have to tell people no. Sometimes you have to say, Scripture says this, and you're saying that, and people don't like that. So, I see many people in ministry who do a lot of placating. And that is more prevalent than ever before, because in churches there's a higher fire mentality out there. You're working for us, Pastor, rather than we're working together and we have mutual ministries. This is a real difficulty. I had a United Church of Christ pastor, more conservative, believe it or not, in that denomination, say, well, I can't really tell the people what I think because I won't have a job anymore. And that's rough. And that is the truth. Again, the goal is to be alone. Jesus said it, let your yes be yes and your no be no. That is alone. That's somebody who's attempting to be straight. Again, the hardest of that group to deal with is, I think, in my experience, is the distractor. Because no matter how hard I try to dig in, I just can't get a straight answer. They're just going to change the subject. They're just going to continue to buzz around like a fly on summer's night. So, when you read people, you're going to have a sense, if you memorize these 5 things, of whether you're experiencing a blamer, not hard to identify. A placater, usually not that tough to identify. A computer, usually not that tough to identify. Distractor, may or may not be. Or a leveler, somebody that you feel is, in fact, a straight shooter.